Hello again, folks. How are you guys doing? So, recently people have been up in arms about, men beating women in women's sports and all that. And really, let's be honest here. The idea of having, unisex sports leagues, I think, is appealing to me. I think anyone who's honest should find it appealing, by the way. Realistically, watching women's sports is, for most sports fans, I'm not one, but from what they tell me at least, it's about as interesting as watching paint dry, right? It's just not something you should really be going about. So, in the future, obviously, since men can be women now and women can be men, the entire idea of having women's only leagues doesn't really make any sense because obviously we're all, fans of Marx and Engels, and gender is just a social construct, just like the age of consent, right? So obviously, then there's no point really to having a women's only soccer league, for instance. I think going forward, the world would be a better place if there just simply weren't women's leagues in general, and if they could compete and get on a team, they should get on a team. And women can form their own teams and compete in events as they please. I think it should be illegal, though, to hold sex discriminatory events. That's, an idea of the patriarchy that men are inherently physically superior after all. So the idea that women should have their own leagues is absolutely ridiculous, just, prima facie then. Like, going forward, I think the world would be a better place if we just completely eliminated, the category of male and female from all things chess, video games, sports, what have you, and just simply, have that be impossible. While we're at it, we should remove female sports scholarships and everything else as well, because there shouldn't be female teams. They should just be competing on the team. So they're, if you're looking at Notre Dame or whatever, you simply just have a Notre Dame soccer team. And, I think just, point faced, all of it should be illegal otherwise, because you're enforcing all, old world evil viewpoints. So going forward, I look forward to a world where, men and women are treated exactly equal despite any and all physical appearances. I think it could only be a good thing going forward. And, I'm hoping that, for instance, for the Olympics, we simply just no longer have female and male Olympics. Like, if you're a power lifter, then the only thing that's going to determine how good of a power lifter you are is the total amount of weight you can bench. And I'm personally quite happy with that kind of a development going forward, and I, too, am enjoying honking along in the clown world. And so, I hope society can progress to a point where these liberal values are taken to their logical conclusions, we'll say. And I think this should also apply to all sorts of things, like hiring. I think ESG based on, gender is absolutely discriminatory, and it should be outlawed. We shouldn't be trying, we shouldn't recognize the category of male and female at that point. Like, if men can be women and women can be men, then you really can't tell what their original gender is, and you can't make an honest report on that. And, if we're believing the Marxist and Engels and all of that, then the original concept of gender doesn't exist. It's just a person. There is no determining factor and no difference, period. You're not allowed to have a difference of opinion on that. So, having women or men be promoted in any sort of field, it should be impossible. And it should also be impossible to fire someone for discrimination because those categories don't exist. So if you fire someone, it's simply because they couldn't perform the job up to the point as, their coworkers, for instance. So, there could be some silver lining to a lot of this, and I'm always a bright, sunny spot looking for some big silver linings. So this is something I've really seen people discuss a lot recently is, this whole idea of, trying to force transsexualism and all of that into the sports industry. And I really think the best solution is just simply to make all teams unisex and then force it through the legal system. And then the rest of the world will just simply have to adjust, or else we can threaten them with violence, the same way we force any other Marxist shenanigans down people's throats. You will obey the message, or else you will be physically assaulted, or they'll take your money, or they'll take your life. That's just the reality of the situation as far as the way people operate in current day and age. And I, for one, fully support it. Let the unisex sports leagues and unisex competition and unisex workplace begin. Also, sexual discrimination then is realistically impossible because there is no such thing as sex, right? Male and female are not categories, period. You cannot be sexually assaulted then by a man or a woman. Now, you can certainly be touched inappropriately, but calling it sexual assault doesn't make sense, right? So, for instance, your body might be assaulted, then it would just have to be a regular type of assault. There wouldn't be any sort of sexual connotation to it. And at the same pace, and if you're following the Marxist logic to its full content, I'm not even going to say it, but it involves kids. You can figure it. I'm sure you can derive what I'm thinking of saying from the obvious allusions I've been making thus far about the end game goal of this. And people will tell me slippery slope this, slippery slope that, and if the last 30 years haven't taught you anything, there is no such thing as the slippery slope when it comes to Marxism. Just a slow march towards the praxis and the complete destruction of humanity, which, okay, bring it on at this point. I care not so much anymore. I exist to enjoy the sound of the rain on my rooftop. It's very soothing and it happens quite a decent amount right now. The sun is outside right now, by the way. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear the gentle pitter-patter of rain. Just, it's a light, summer or spring-ish rain. It's going off on the windowsill and the metal railing there. So it's super calming, it makes life all the more worth living, So, at least from my perspective, we can exist in this world on the computer where all of this shenanigans is happening, and we can simply just advocate for the most possible clown world outcome, because that's going to be the one, at least to me, that's going to be the most uniquely interesting and funny. And given that, I can then escape from the consequences of that and simply just listen to the rain. So the evil, sardonic me just can't really help but giggle about a lot of these things. And their, final conclusions, and can't help but try at least do my little part of trolling, and to try and have that agenda go forward. But yeah, some RuneScape news too. I guess I should show you right now for the loyal no one that will probably actually know or look into this, but I did, heck, I guess I can't. 1 second. You can tell I've just been sitting here, and I typed in my thing wrong. You can tell I've just been sitting here and clicking back and forth to make those things happen. So I haven't even done my herb run, even though I've got a disgusting amount of herbs. I recently got 91 thieving, but yes, I did finally get one. 1850 KC. I've already prepared the 2 uncut onyxes I'm going to use for them, and I bought a disgusting amount of this for 95 fletching. I want to get Desert Diary done relatively quickly, so I do have the onyxes now. The onyxes are mine. Oh, I should no, that's fine. I guess I'll leave it that way. It looks pretty. And yeah. And so, I probably should do a farm run, but I'm not going to. At least not while the camera's on. That's too cringe. But yeah. So I'm almost at 86 Slayer. I have 1 more level to go. Hopefully, I'm tutorial skipping for Demonic Gorillas, so hopefully I get another Demonic Gorillas task or 2. I might do a Nechril task if I get it or something like that, but maybe not, probably not, honestly. I need the 2nd Zenyte before 87. After that point, I'll have, Anguish and the ring, whatchamacallit, Anguish and Suffering, yes, Suffering, and then I can start doing Zulrah that way. So that'll be nice and efficient. I just need 1 more, and hopefully it's not going to take me another 1800 Demonic Gorillas to get there, but, at 87 I'm going to tutorial skip for Kraken, get the Kraken Tentacle, block Krakens, and then continue doing Slayer normally. At that point, though, I'm going to be farming Zulrah, probably working on 92 mining at that point, getting Amethyst. I want to complete Elite Desert and then start farming KQ to get the pick. I will just tutorial skip to get Kalphite Queen task. I'll probably get my last 2 Zenytes around there just from tutorial skipping too, and then I can just do regular Slayer to 91. I have more than enough potions to hopefully not have to cheese Cerberus. I would rather avoid doing that, so I can, slam Cerberus out, get my boots. Maybe I'll consider grinding Ranger boots at that point. Probably not, though. Blessed Hide is good enough, honestly. And then, yeah, I'm free to pretty much consider maxing or doing TOA. I might go get bandos just to have it at some point soon, just for funsies, but yeah, the future's looking bright on the account and all of that nonsense. But either way, you have a good day. That was my little schizo rant. A nice calming one.